right, what's up, guys? So with me here today, I got Trevor Bower, owner of not one, not two, but three supplement companies and an apparel company at only at the age of 28. Entrepreneur, I'm so happy to have him on here. He's going to give you guys a lot of insight to not only like you see supplements like on the shelves and whatever, but you don't really understand what really goes into it. So we have the mastermind behind everything here today. So Trevor, do you mind giving us a little like background to kind of like how you got to where you are today with, the three supplement companies, the supplement store, the apparel company, just yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I kind of didn't intentionally kind of go into this industry. I was doing fresh out of college, just online marketing and web design for small businesses and startups. And I was really trying to do anything I could to just get experience under my belt, and I liked working with and helping small businesses, even if they weren't paying me. um you know i uh I really kind of just cherish being able to get the opportunity to try to help and learn some things. And I ended up, I shopped at GNC a lot, and
I
there's
think we all have. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, throughout my 4 college years and my 1 year post college before we started supplement store. So about 5 years, I definitely spent my thousands of dollars. Um,
That was
but I made,
advanced subs, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that was located in Jersey or was that PA?
Central PA. We
Okay.
started in the Colonial Park Mall in Harrisburg. And the reason I say I kind of got thrown into it, or wasn't an intentional decision initially, was kind of I met two guys who were already they're in the industry, and they had a good following, and they wanted to open this store. And I ended up getting into a conversation with them about helping with marketing and building a website. So I was, only supposed to have very kind of small involvement, especially, after the initial phase. Like, I build a website, kind of manage a couple things, send out some emails, and I'm done. Design the logo, set up the store, and I really wasn't expecting to be that involved. But I was kind of, as a small business like that, it requires a lot of time, and especially being in a mall where you have such long hours. um, we're very cash strapped, and I'm like, well, I've got the time, so I might as well just you know be here and help out as much as I can, and
So
kind
were
of
you into
evolved into a lot more.
Gotcha. So were you like into lifting and everything? I mean, you were into lifting, but like how like deep into like, just everything were you? Or was it like not even really a thought to kind of be a part of a supplement company besides like their websites and stuff?
Yeah. So I really like the fitness industry. I didn't really know how to kind of get into it. And, in high school, I always kind of just wanted to lose weight. So as soon as I got into college, I had made my efforts in high school, but when I got into college, I really got extremely disciplined, bought a treadmill, bought all my weights, got my bench, kind of a secluded area at my grandparents' house in their basement. I set up my whole home gym over time. I had just added pieces to my collection because I didn't want to go to a public gym. I didn't feel comfortable, very self-conscious of myself. And it was kind of just my space away. So I, for about, my 4 years in college, and like I had this vision of how I was going to look when I graduated college. I nowhere near it. I didn't, I don't even know if I looked like I even was working out. Um, so, I mean, I genetically have, limitations, but everybody does. And um, I don't really think like I had nearly the guidance, or the experience or the products to help me propel to the next level until we opened advanced. And then my results completely started to change. Like I think I think our first couple months, I had people telling me like, "Oh, do you lift now?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I've been for a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks for noticing. I appreciate it." But I mean, it literally was like the only difference was pretty much like products I was taking.
Yeah. And
um,
you have that support system with like,
well, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, even now, like I don't feel like I look, like the business owner of, supplement stores. Um, but it definitely, I feel a lot more pressure, or I feel like I have to exemplify, like, and really give a certain amount of effort and accountability towards actually looking the part, and going through this journey or these experiences, even if I may never look like, what I initially envisioned. But the fact that I'm continuing to make progress and learn just like everybody else. And then I'm able to, I mean, I've seen hundreds, thousands of customers and that I've seen in person and talked over the phone, or whatever. And I can use all those experiences kind of to my advantage, to kind of help others. And whether they have, similar kind of setbacks as I have physically, or, they are one of those guys that have that gift, any kind of, knowledge or experience can really help people. I've seen a lot of different body types, and, it's definitely
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you actually like become the owner? So you said you kind of got like mixed up in like advanced ops, you guys opened that. So how did you become the owner of like, the Breakthrough Labs, Centurion Labs? What's the other one? Nature's Wellness? Is that
naturally.
Nature? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So how did that
it's
happen?
so naturally is our wellness line underneath Breakthrough Labs. And then it so advanced, we had up to, I've opened, I think, 11 different stores because we've moved so many times, um,
That's
with
crazy.
advanced. We only have two right now. We had to close down a couple with the pandemic. We were a little bit too spread thin. And I think it's very difficult kind of being in some settings right now, retail wise.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
there was some tough calls to be made. But with advanced, like I said, I started out as a very small partner with two other guys. The partnership ended up just not going the way we expected. One partner was bought out kind of relatively early, and then split ways with my other partner later on. So it's kind of just been me, last 2-3 years now.
At advanced subs.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
being on my own. But I, I really use my staff, to, be, those essentially, like, I treat them like partners. Like I like sharing everything. This is kind of where we're at. This is what we're looking to do. What do you think about this? I don't like doing anything alone, and I think a lot of people don't. And I really kind of, um, like everyone feeling as involved as possible. When we got into, like, when we had 5 locations at one time, and we were really spread thin. I didn't feel like I could really do that the same. But having a smaller, team, it's more like a family, and I, I really enjoy that part of it. We didn't have the products that we necessarily wanted in store, that were going to give people the results they're looking for. So that's where Breakthrough Labs came into play. We built Breakthrough Labs from scratch starting in 2017, and we started with 2 products and just have continued building the line since. We
So
have about 30 products in that line.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you guys literally built that from scratch. So this leads into like my like first like actual question was like, how do you guys decide like what ingredients go in what products? So, we could get into like the pre-workouts and stuff, but just like a general, like, do you base it off of like studies and research, or do you base it off of like personal experience, a combination? Like, how do you like actually decide what ingredients go into what products to serve a certain purpose?
It's definitely a combination, but I don't think there's anything that really can top practical results and experience. So to be honest, like if something is working and you can find a way to make it better, um, you know, I, I don't, I'll, we'll take the, base profile from something we've already created and just kind of try to keep making it better. We've, the Breakthrough Labs line really came from products that we had in store already that we wanted to make better. So we, in some cases tripled, quadrupled the doses of things, and tried to make the profile more complete by adding some more things in, make the product as versatile as possible. And part of it also is working with the manufacturers to make sure that we have profiles that ingredients aren't competing with each other, conflicting each other, and they're not going to have a bad reaction amongst another, and that things are really going to play off of others as well as possible, so that the product feels and hits and reacts the way that we want it to.
Gotcha. So it's like trial and error, and then making sure like through just simple chemistry that like the products aren't going to like clash. But like how exactly did you get those base profiles?
I mean, part of my philosophy with Breakthrough and pretty much with everything we have is like we never backtrack. We never have taken a product and then made it cheaper or lesser. Whenever we've improved it, we've improved it. Whereas a lot of most products, when you do see a new generation of it, it's not always that. So we've really stood by that, and I never want someone taking a product and then we release a new version of it, and there's not an ounce of me that is like, okay, yeah, I feel like you're getting cheated a little bit here. Because I mean, my conscience is just too big for that. That's why like we've developed these products, is because I'm not a salesperson. I don't like gimmicks at all. And I wouldn't feel comfortable selling something to someone unless I know they're getting their money's worth. And with the case of the Breakthrough line and even Centurion and Naturally, like the products that you're getting, the profiles for the price is unmatchable. And I can say that because like I'm sitting here talking with manufacturers, and they're literally trying to talk me out of a product because they think my margin's not going to be good enough. And I'm like, I don't like, if I sell a lot of it, doesn't like, that's not going to matter so much to me, and if I can't go into like huge, massive distribution, because the margin isn't there for another layer of markup, that's okay. I'd rather sell the product directly to you, so that you get the best price possible. And there doesn't need to be a layer of markup in there. I want to be able to make sure that the customer at the end of the day is getting what they're paying for.
I feel like companies nowadays, that's kind of lost. It's like, all they care about is that profit, that the margin of profit. So like, it's really good to hear, there's still some good out there.
Well, I kind of always have, we've never poured a ton of money into advertising. And that's really, we don't, like, if you're going to have that discretionary money for advertising, like you're taking that from somewhere, and usually that's from margin of the product. If you're paying this little for the product and then you have this markup, you can put this much money into advertising and get a good return. Whereas, in our case, really can't, it can't put a lot of money into advertising and then get a good return, because the cost of the product to us is too high for that, and I'm not charging you through the roof for the product either. So, it's definitely a different kind of model of doing business, but I feel like it's a really good way to make sure like the customers get, the best possible product um,
No,
and
that's
paying a fair
awesome, dude.
price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really, we've communicated with this with our customers since day one. Um, we'll treat you the best possible as we can. We'll give you the best products possible, best prices possible. All we ask from you is to help spread the word, tell other people about what we have and your actual experience from it. Because in this industry, like there's so much skepticism out there. If you don't have someone like telling you specifically, Joe, hey, I highly recommend this place, the chances that you're going to ever shop there is slim.
True. Absolutely. So leads me into my second question. You kind of touched on the ingredient profiles. So, I mean, I personally know, but like I know a lot of people don't, how the qualities of the certain ingredients that go into the certain products, like how much that actually affects, you know, how it's going to affect your body. So if like the ingredients of like creatine, let's say, are like, not quality, like how do you know that like the ingredients you're getting in a certain product are quality? Or is it literally just like impossible to tell? You just have to like have that like interaction with the owner and like find out what's actually in the product.
Like when you're dealing with like manufacturer with a brand, or
Like
you
with
just
a
mean in
brand. So
general, just as a consumer?
as a consumer, so you're in a store, you have two proteins and you don't know which one to get, but like how do you like know which one has like better quality ingredients? Or is it literally just like knowing the company?
Yeah. To be honest, like that's tough.
Yeah.
Because you do have a lot of really, really good brands out there that make really quality products. And then, you have quite the opposite. And sometimes like bigger brand doesn't always mean that it's better. Sometimes, a small brand, means that, they really do put their heart and soul into it. Sometimes it is, it's not. It's just about getting a product out there. So, I mean, um, as an end consumer, I don't really think there is a way you can tell because, you really have to read based off of what the label says. And that's not that, I mean, doesn't necessarily always have to be accurate either. So I wish I had a better answer for you there.
No,
I,
I mean, you
I,
kind of, that's kind
I
of how
mean,
I expected you to answer.
I think with our own stores, that's why like we take it very personal to make sure that like we're not selling anything that isn't exactly what it's supposed to be. And that we do always carry the best possible products we can. Because our brand is our retail name, so if you're coming into our store, you hopefully trust that everything we have is quality. And I can reassure you that. Um, but you learn that over time, you learn that over experience, you learn that over dealing with, my team, my staff, whatever, in trying a brand and liking that brand. Like that's where your trust is going to come from.
Right.
So every brand is essentially, you have to pretty much start that from scratch,
Yeah.
and kind of build that trust yourself. Um, so by again, treating people right, carrying quality stuff, and then over time, like they will realize, what you have.
Yeah. So for everybody watching, do not be scared to support their small businesses. Cause like Trevor said, the smaller the business, the potential that they have for actually like, they care more about the products because they might not have a lot of extra money for advertising because, they don't have that markup. So don't be scared to, go to like a local nutrition shop instead of GNC where they're, just trying to have the markups and sell their PMs and get the commission. So guys, do your research and, get like the background information. Like make sure like don't just look at the label, like dig deeper, like you have to care about what's going into your body. I mean, if you don't care, it's whatever then. But if you actually care about what's going into your body, like do your research, find out where the company is like, like getting their ingredients or if it's like backed by, reputable manufacturers. You have to dig a little deep, but like Trevor said, it's going to be well worth it in the long run. You're going to save a lot of money and get those quality ingredients from the products that you're using instead of just filler and markup wasting money. So really good thing to consider. So let's move on to our next question. Let's see. So so you said you guys don't really spend a ton of money on advertising. So in general though, like let's say you did have that money, what would like your like general steps be, like 1, 2, 3 of like advertising a product? Like would you start with like Facebook ads? Would you start, billboards, like or like just on Instagram, kind of like, getting ambassadors? Like how would that kind of like look in general?
To be honest, I mean, I'm a big fan of ambassadors and athletes, but only when they truly and genuinely like support your products and brand. So, like I said, like obviously, I mean, word of mouth has always been like uh, a uh, a hot word for advertising, marketing, being like, most small businesses love word of mouth because essentially it's free. But I think word of mouth is phenomenal because it's that trust factor. You have a lot of different brands, a lot of different products, a lot of different stores in this industry. So, just necessarily getting your message out there doesn't mean that anybody's going to trust it. So, I think trying to, help and support the people that support you, and you can build a team around, one common goal. I think is personally my favorite way of doing it.
So
Facebook,
as an
yeah,
ambassador, sorry, really quick. So like as an ambassador, like you said, like you kind of, you know, like having those athletes and ambassadors. So for the people out there who may already be ambassadors or are trying to be ambassadors for a company, as the owner of those companies, how would you expect the ambassadors to really relay that, like your message, and advertise for you? Is it literally just like talking about it more, or like, because I see a lot of people just like spamming their story with like different like discounts and stuff, but it's a different sense, like it's a completely different way of doing it than like actually caring about the products and like having a face-to-face conversation
yeah,
with someone. So like
yeah.
like how, like what are your expectations from your ambassadors?
Just because you're promoting it, yeah, that doesn't mean that it necessarily, will do anything for you. I mean, people really need to see that you truly believe in what you're promoting. And only I think the individual person can really figure out for themselves like how um like to do things in the most genuine fashion. Um, and that should come naturally. Like if you have to work too hard at that, if, then then it's probably not coming naturally. I've as much as I say like I like the ambassador model, I also, I don't like if I had a big celebrity come to me and say, hey, I will do this for you know, not a bad like an affordable rate for you, and I'll be able to get all this exposure for your brand. Um, Unless they like genuinely supported the brand and like I knew that like they put their own hard-earned dollars like into the brand before, then I want to do it. Just I don't want anyone out there promoting my any of my brands unless they genuinely support it. It's people can read through it, and I I even if that is a bad business move in some people's minds, it's like that's how I sleep at night, like knowing like, hey, I mean, the people out there promoting for us are doing it on their own goodwill, they want to. And I appreciate that, more than I can kind of put into words. So um, I honestly forget the question at this point.
It was just like, how, as like the owner of those companies, how do you, you know, what do you expect out of your ambassadors? But I mean, you
I mean,
definitely
sometimes
answered
it's a
it.
leap of faith. Sometimes it's a leap
Right.
of faith. Like if I know like you genuinely support the brand, and you're trying, like, you might not ever get us any kind of business. But if I see the effort there, that's honestly what matters more to me. But it is tough because like I can't judge you just based off of how you're promoting on social media.
Right.
Like I want you to also be like telling your buddies at the gym, and I can't see that.
Right.
So it is really tough. Like it's a case by case scenario with everybody essentially.
Yeah. So, I mean, you basically touched on it, just like be genuine. Like it should come naturally. If you have to force it, you're probably with the wrong company or shouldn't be with the company at all. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't have to feel like you're selling something, because you're really not. You're just telling people about, the products that you use to get to like where you are and the stuff that you enjoy. So if you're currently like with a company, an ambassador for a company, and like you find like it's kind of like hard to tell people about it because you feel like too pushy or like you're selling it, like you're probably with the wrong company, because it, like Trevor said, it should come naturally. You should just be telling your buddies about it just because genuinely enjoy it.
And
But this kind of
I
leads.
mean, I could give you an example too, because I've had
Yeah,
people
let's hear it.
say like literally I've been stuck for the last couple of years until I found you guys. I got advice from you guys, and I took some of your products, and it's literally changed my outlook on everything, on even life, my confidence. I started seeing results again, and I heard this. Um, I hear this from high school, college coaches and stuff like that, where it's like, my passion is really like, if I don't feel confident myself, then it's hard to kind of be passionate about what I'm doing. And that's when it's like, okay, like this person's not going to shy away from recommending anybody towards us, because we really help to essentially change their life. And like every single person that walk through our doors, every person I have a conversation with, like that's our goal. I mean, I want to make a lasting impression, you know, and I want to hopefully help you, see, that difference and that change, and have that pivotal point that like if you're kind of stuck, I want to help you get past that. And that's when we hear things like that. I mean, there's nothing more like really we could be spinning wheels month after month after month, not making anything, like losing money. And we hear some things like that, and just, it's that's what drives us every day, to keep getting better.
Yeah,
So
and that should be the goal of ambassadors too. It's like, not like as an ambassador, like promoting products that you actually enjoy and you actually, see benefits with, you will get those, feel good stories as well yourself. People will come to you like a couple months later after you recommend them a product and like, dude, like I lost like X number of pounds, like I feel so good, like blah, blah, blah. So, as an ambassador, not only like the owner of a company, but like all the way down, you get those feel good stories. So everything should just be like natural. You're just telling someone about, something you enjoy. So it kind of leads me into, how does someone actually become an ambassador for a company? Like you kind of touched on, like you want someone who's going to genuinely care about your products. But if someone right now is like not affiliated with any company, not ambassador, not sponsored, whatever, but they want to be, what would the steps be that you would recommend for them to do? Would you recommend they reach out to a company, or would you recommend they kind of, like just what would you recommend they do?
well, none of my companies do we have like an application or anything like that. It's more you know kind of a one-on-one conversation. However, I know there are a lot of brands that have programs set up. You can apply online. But I'll give you an example here of kind of what I think is truly a really good example of what anyone should kind of essentially strive to do. Is if you're looking to be an ambassador, like if you're in it for the long haul and you really want to find that right company, I just want to mention Justin Batterino. He was with Centurion Labs back in 2019 for a little while, and things kind of like fell off after Gasticernino left, where they mutually parted ways. You know, Justin really wanted to make an influence, and you know, he felt like he wasn't able to end up doing that with Centurion. He kind of just you know, started, you know, just you know, focusing on himself and seeing where things take him. And when I had an idea that we were going to be taken over for Centurion, I reached out to Justin and I said, "Hey, it's really nice to meet you." Well, we had met formally, but you know, we reconnected. I told him I had something coming. I wanted to kind of propose to him at the right time. He was going to come out to the Arnold with us in 2019 with Breakthrough Labs. And as he started looking at our breakthrough products and trying some of our products, he really fell in love with them, especially the Naturally line. And I know he was like, for a while, like I was keeping an eye on him, like, you know, if he picked up any kind of like sponsor or anything like that. And every time I talk to him, he's like, "No, I don't want to rush into anything until I find like where I'm really passionate, where not only does the brand and the product speak to me, but also who I'm working with." And he literally calls me like every few days to tell me how much he appreciates what we do for him. And you know, he had that moment where he's like, I could have somebody call me right now with like willing to pay me X amount. Like, I want to be with you guys. I know you guys will be there for the long haul with me. I want to help you guys grow. I love that you're small. I love that you've got these premium products. I love that you have this Naturally Wellness line. And I love that I'm working with you. And I want to build this relationship. And this is like, I hope like I could be a part of this team. And then, you know, 6 months later, we pick up, well, actually, that was 2019. So about a year later, we take over for Centurion. And I'm like, "Justin, we got Centurion now." He's like, "Oh, great. Now I can rep both brands." Like he never wanted to just represent someone, and he never wanted to push like products or a brand onto his following and then where they stop really believing what he truly believes. You know, he didn't have anyone between, you know, when we talked to him the very first time with Centurion, like over a year passed and he has all this potential, and he's debated like working with other brands. I know he's taken a ton of products, but you know, he waited until he found what like really seemed to be what he wanted. So, you know, he waited until something spoke to him. And, you know, I like that approach, you know, kind of when you feel like it's right, then, you know, go for it.
And you think reach out to that company once you kind of find like the products that you know, you just love, do you then reach out to the company, or do you?
I mean, I think it's like it, even before like you approach like an ambassadorship, like build a relationship there, maybe, you know, see if that bond is there, see if you really can stand behind what they stand behind. That's kind of that's how I would approach it personally. Especially if it's a brand that just doesn't pick up ambassadors a lot. Right. You know, there's some brands that like, you apply, you're good to go. But there's some brands that are going to be very particular, and if you want to really have your best, not even your best shot, but you want to make sure it's a good fit for you too.
Yeah.
I respect that a lot about Justin a lot.
Yeah, no,
Sure,
absolutely.
everybody wants to have like a sponsor, especially someone of his caliber. But he was very patient, and it means a lot to me that like he like I just know like he's not going to go anywhere,
Right.
and that's a good feeling for us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I started with Centurion Labs, I think early 2019, if not maybe late 2018.
Hmm.
But I just simply absolutely fell in love with the products. It just kind of worked out. Um, but like you said, I didn't have a very strong relationship. Like at the time, my coach was, the national sales director or whatever. So he kind of like got me in there, and I just absolutely love the product. So I just fell in love with it that way. But then, honestly, when you took over, it was like just completely different. Like it like opened my eyes. I was like, you know, now I'm actually working with a company who not only I believe in their products, but I believe in the future. Like seeing you behind the desk and like, even just the stuff we just talked about and the conversations we had in the past, like, when we met at the Baltimore Classic, like I immediately knew like, before you took over it was like, okay, yeah, like I love these products, but I have no idea where it's going to take me. But now it's like, I want to grow with you guys because I see the potential not only in like the company, but you as well, and like what you can do with it and like how genuinely like you care about people. So it's just really cool to be a part of that. So, I mean, to everybody listening, like find the products that you enjoy, but also like Trevor said, like find who you bond with because it's a relationship. It's not, you know, you're not just promoting products, you're promoting a company, and they're behind the company there's a face, there's an owner, and there's a whole team. So like it's a lot deeper than people think of just promoting certain products. It's a company, and especially the smaller companies. um so I just want to say on here, I'm truly blessed to be a part of the team, Trevor. So thank you so much, and thanks for coming on here. Seriously, it means the world.
Well, thanks so much, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I have like two more questions we can run through really quick before we head out. So ba, ba, ba. So this is kind of, I'm just throwing this out there, and you might not know, you might not want to share because you don't want to give other companies a little insight or whatever. But are there any new ingredients on the market, not yet like in products, that could potentially, have extreme upside effects. Like, like ashwagandha had that huge wave where it's like, I mean, it's been around for a while, but like people like start taking it, like doing studies and being like, wow, okay, this helps with a huge slew of stuff. So I'm just curious if you know of any like ingredients out there that people can kind of like dabble with and try that's not necessarily public knowledge yet. And if you
Um,
if you do know and you don't want to share because it's not like patented or something, that's completely fine. So I completely understand.
no, I mean, like I said, like even if a crazy ingredient comes out that is going to be very effective. Um, Again, like the philosophy behind our products is like practical and experiential. Like the products, we know the products work because they've worked 1,000 times before. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make the best profile of it and the best dosages and sell it for a really good price. Um, Even if something comes out that's going to knock your socks off, um, I honestly wouldn't jump the gun, and I wouldn't I'd say, um, you know, get on that until kind of the right time, to where I can do something different or better. Um, and I want to make sure everything checks out and like it's going to last and it's going to be good. It's going to work for people. There's not going to be side effects and stuff like that, you know. I really kind of stand behind like the tried and true kind of ingredients and formulas, and you can't really, if you make a quality product with quality ingredients, I mean, they're more expensive, and to dose it right, I mean, people aren't gonna, a lot of companies aren't gonna match it. So if you build a really good product, um, you know, that is going to be hard for anyone else to compete with, at least as far as the formula goes. I mean, they can beat, I mean, we get beat out on marketing every day, all day. You know, there's plenty of, um, you know, gimmicks and stuff like that, that like, you know, I'm like, man, you know, if they just tried what we had, you know, we'd be doing phenomenal. But like, they beat us out on marketing. Like, there's some companies that are freaking dang good at marketing, and you know, but really investing into the products, making the most well-rounded formulas, versatile products, is really kind of what I'm gonna stand behind. And um, I um, yeah, I mean, there's things that are kind of going to be on the horizon, but um, you know,
Hush, hush. Yeah, no. All right, so what? All right, so this kind of leads me to my last question. So, if you could pick like your top supplements, like absolutely anything from, I mean, I kind of did a video about this, kind of talking about like, 7 supplements or ingredients like you're not taking right now that you should be. But coming from the aspect of of 3 supplement companies, the president, CEO, like what, like, let's just say like top 5 products that you say like, kind of every person who's into fitness should take.
do you say top 5?
Yeah, because we could go on forever. So, all right,
Yeah.
let's say, I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, I can only necessarily maybe name categories,
okay.
um, because everybody's different. So one, I mean, what works for you, not necessarily going to work for the next guy. Um, and um, you know, a lot of people, you know, if you, it's really tough. So obviously, like, I'm a big fan of pre-workout, and a lot of people are. Those gym goers, I'd say, are. Some people substitute that with just energy drinks or coffee. Even though there obviously are a lot of benefits to taking a design specific pre-workout, than those options. But yeah, I mean, if somebody has a lot of energy and they don't need pre-workout, or they're going to bed soon, you know, that's going to keep them up, then you don't take pre-workout, you know. That doesn't hurt my feelings.
Right. Yeah.
But obviously, you know, pre-workout is definitely like one of those top 5. If you're just getting into working out, I wouldn't push you on that. Like, I'm not a fan of, you know, caffeine addiction or anything like that. But
It's a
like,
real thing.
and it's not going to help you necessarily build muscle. Might help you burn a little bit extra calories because it really kind of gets you going. But it's designed to help you get a better workout, right? It's not going to necessarily do anything else than help you get a better workout. And if you get a better workout, then that can obviously help with your goals. But
Right.
it's going to be person to person. You know, your protein, obviously getting enough protein intake throughout your day, very essential. And like post workout, you know, especially, you know, your BCAs, you're getting the fast protein, you're getting your quick carbs, getting your you know, your healthy fats, your BCAs, your electrolytes, your potassium, your taurine, like everything you want post workout is important. There's some good products out there like that. We've been working on one for a while, just trying to get it right. Um, and you probably remember Unrivaled had
It was the protein and the carbs mixed
It was
together.
the protein. Yeah, it was the post workout.
Yeah, that was awesome. Except like throughout prep, my post workout carbs would drop. So I would go like 50 grams of carbs and then 25. I'm like, well, crap. Like my protein's staying the same, but my carbs are dropping. So it's like, how do I do this?
If you're competing, it's tough because you can't. It's one ratio. So, but you know, someone that has a hard time gaining weight, like I don't. Mass gainers are just too much for me. But you know, mass gainers can be really good if you need those extra calories and you just can't eat enough to get, you know, that surplus. You know, that might be a dirty bulk for some people, but for the guy that can't gain weight, like, you know, he could drink all the mass gain in a day and then gain an ounce, you know. So
have you seen the people that actually blend like their meals? They'll blend like the chicken and rice and broccoli and then drink it. Have you seen that? Oh,
yeah. I mean,
man.
it's, yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, I'm sure, you know, like it's hard. It's hard to keep eating it sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
You savor every bite when you're like cutting or you're, you know, you're in prep, but like you're bulking, you're just like, I'm just done eating now. But
yes. So we got the pre-workout.
Thermogenics can be good.
Protein. What was that one?
Thermogenics.
Okay.
Thermogenics. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad talk out there with fat burners. You know, they aren't a magic pill, but if they're going to suppress your appetite and give you really good energy, help you feel fuller quicker when you're eating, and help you keep your mind off of food throughout the day, and keep you moving around and energized and get your metabolism up, then, you know, I've seen people who don't even work out drop a really nice amount of weight and do it in a healthy time frame, just because it helped them cut back and it helped them diet better. Like, there's obviously a lot of things that you have to do in conjunction with that, but thermogenics, I mean, if you know that you just can't take this and expect long-term results, and you know, like, okay, this is designed to help you get into the right habits and help you eat less, then like it can be extremely beneficial.
Long way. So that kind of wraps everything up. Trevor, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, I hope you learned something, take something away from this. And yeah, any closing thoughts, Trevor?
No, I mean, you brought up the time we met at the show in Baltimore, and we had four of our kind of team members there. So that was really cool and exciting. And it was nice, you know, meeting you in person, and you know, seeing Justin again, and meeting Mikey. So you know, that was a good time, and hopefully more of that here in 2021. See how the year goes, but yeah, things like that. Like, I mean, that's, to me, it's just kind of what it's all about, is building a community where we're all kind of there to support each other, help each other grow. So team lifts hopefully coming up too. See how the gyms stay open for much longer, and
let's hope coronavirus just goes away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been kind of rocky and tough with that, but you know, there's going to be hopefully a greater appreciation for certain things once we're kind of past it. So
no, absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much, Trevor, for coming on. Guys, more of these podcasts will be coming out, so make sure you guys subscribe so you stay up to date. If you like this, please leave a like and comment anything, any thoughts that you had on the video or anything that you would like to see next. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.